Hey guys, it's Travis from LostHiker.com again, and I recently did a review. It was just a text-based review on REI.com. I really like their review system. I think they use like PowerReviews.com or somebody there that kind of sets all that up. But figured I want to do a little video review real quick on it as well. Kind of post up on YouTube. Hadn't really seen a whole lot of information about these. You see a lot of information about like the little MSR pocket rockets, but you don't see a whole lot about the Giga Powers made by Snowpeak. They're a great little stove, and in my opinion, they're better than the MSR pocket rockets. Mainly because they have the 4 supports right here, the 4 pot supports, as opposed to the 3 that the pocket rocket has. And these things right here are robust. They will not bend under any reasonable load. They won't flex either. Once you fold them down, they stop. And plus, there's 4 of them. They also, where they come in kind of close, they'll fit anything from a kind of a big cook pot that'll hold a couple of quarts of water, whatever, to something as small as like a stainless steel mug to cook with. So it's a great little stove for that. Folds up pretty compact, as you can see. Fits down in this little case right here, and nice and light, nice and compact. You can tuck it away in a pack and you'll never notice it's there. But what I'm going to do here is I'll light it up and kind of show my only real complaint about it. Let's see if I can get it going here. Kind of hear it hissing just a little bit there. There we go. Now, it burns pretty hot. It's definitely, just takes a couple minutes to, maybe 4 or 5 minutes to boil water or something like that. I'm not going to make any hard claims about it because it largely depends on your altitude, and your current weather conditions, but just takes a couple minutes. I'm not concerned about it sitting on my kayak here. It is a stable surface, but I don't suggest cooking on it like that. I'm just doing a brief demonstration in a pretty controlled environment, but I'm not worried about heat or anything. Unless you've got a reflector around it, it's not going to get anything hot. And really, on canister stoves, you're not supposed to have a reflector around them anyways. Otherwise, you'll put yourself at risk of heating up the canister itself, or the fuel canister. Now, I've just got this thing barely simmering, but you can turn it up pretty high, so it'll definitely put out the flames. Now, down to my only complaint about this, and really it's just, I don't see how they could make it any better. It's just kind of one of those caveats of a canister top stove like this, is that the actual footprint of the flame is not very big. So if you try to simmer something, you're going to have to really move the skillet around or whatever. If you're trying to cook eggs or something like that, you're going to have to really move the skillet around to keep from getting hot spots in it and scorching part of your meal. But that being said, most of the time I usually only use these things for boiling water. I use it for like the dehydrated or freeze-dried meals, whatever. So this thing works perfect for that. I don't really care about temperature control. All I care about is flame output. As you can see, it's got a pretty wide range. Most of the time, I only keep it about like that, or even down like that, so it's not a big deal. These things sip the fuel. I can make this canister, which I think it's go ahead and turn it off here. I think this canister is a 4 ounce, I believe. Well, close enough. It's 3.88. I can make this canister last roughly a 2-day trip, 2 or 3 day trip, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 3 people. And that's pretty darn good. A lot of people, including myself, are or were kind of apprehensive about canister stoves, mostly because it seems kind of wasteful. But the recycling programs have gotten a lot better about these, so as long as you empty your canister out before you take it to a recycling center or turn it into a recycling place, as long as they'll take metal cans like that, they'll take these canisters as long as they're empty. So recycling's not an issue, or disposal's not an issue. Definitely suggest trying to recycle it over just pitching one away. But so that kind of puts me at ease a little bit more. The only other thing I'm apprehensive about is you can't really find the isobutane canisters everywhere. Now, they are getting more popular though, so you can find them just about any, I think even Walmart's starting to carry it. That's their own brand, but it'll still fit most of the isobutane stoves like the Snowpeak Giga Power or MSR Pocket Rocket. Coleman's got their own brand, and I'm pretty sure that their canisters and stuff are compatible with these stoves as well. But anyhow, you can find the canisters pretty much at any major sports store, outdoor sports store, or even Walmart now. So those are becoming more widely available. So I'm definitely starting to like the canister stoves. I personally, most of the time, I use a little alcohol stove, it's almost like the little Pepsi can penny stoves you'll see in some other videos where I've made one, and I love those. But I recently got to reading about, for longer trips, it actually the weight to fuel ratio is actually better for these. Now, granted, the only thing is once you empty one of these out, you still got to pack around a couple grams of weight of an empty canister. But the overall convenience of these things, you can't really debate that. I mean, they're great. It fires up, heats up instantly. You don't have to worry about priming it or anything like that. And it also cools off pretty quick. And then, of course, packs down really easy, with the only real bulk being this thing, and it's really not that bad. So, I'm trying to think of anything else really. Like I said, I like the design, the 4-post design on this. Really stable, packs up really well. Can't really complain about it a whole lot. Now, there are some concerns that people have about, or some questions that people may have about cold weather performance. I've used this thing down into the mid-30s, and it's did just fine. Now, that being said, I had the canister, the canister in my tent with me, or I had it crammed away in a jacket pocket to keep it kind of warm. And that's what I would suggest doing when it gets down in pretty much any temperature below about mid-40s or whatever. Trying to keep the canister as warm as possible. Otherwise, it will frost over, and it won't be as efficient as it could be or should be. So keep that in mind. In cold weather performance, you should be able to use it down into at least down to freezing temperatures, and it should be fine as long as you keep that canister, try to keep it warm as much as possible. Anything below that, unfortunately, isobutane does start to suffer, and you really need to switch over to a liquid fuel stove. But anything warm than that, it's fine. It works great. Higher altitudes, can't really say it for sure one way or another. I live in Kentucky. I don't really have to worry about high altitudes, but any higher altitudes I've been around here, it's done fine. But I'm sure in places like Colorado, might be a little different. But again, if it is, you need to switch to a liquid fuel stove, and so that's the only real drawbacks with these. One thing I will suggest, and you need to keep this in mind if you're traveling, is you absolutely cannot travel with the fuel canisters. The TSA will not like you very much if you try to fly with these. Now, obviously, you can travel in a car just fine with them, whatever. But just keep that in mind. If you're flying, you can pack the stove, cannot pack these. And so, especially in other countries, they may be a little bit harder to find. And again, if that's the case, you really should be traveling with a liquid fuel stove. But that's basically it as far as I can think right now. If you guys have any questions, you know what to do. Just leave a comment below, and I'll try to answer it in as timely manner as possible. But until then, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.